got this bad name. And then, of course, because the drugs were illegal, no more research could be done until, basically, as I said, around 2006, when scientists began to be able to get hold of these chemicals more easily and research their effects on people with post-traumatic stress disorder and people who were battling grave or terminal illnesses, helping them to come to grips with what was happening to them. But also for people who needed a better or needed more of an awareness of their spiritual nature. So this psychologist, Bill Richards, is one of those who actually bridges the gap between the old research that was done in the 50s and 60s and this new research. He brings knowledge of kind of where everything left off before the criminalization of these drugs, and what more work needed to be done in research. So he has been, since the 1960s, clinical researcher in psychedelics. And he says that on the first studies with healthy volunteers, which follow up on studies that were done back in the 60s and 70s, they are reactivating research into the promising application of brief counseling assisted by psilocybin for persons diagnosed with cancer. And he also works through a group called the Council on Spiritual Practices with Roland Griffiths, who we talked about a couple weeks ago, and Robert Jesse, who we also talked about. And they designed a study with psilocybin, which was approved by the FDA. And this research found that some of these psilocybin experiences were considered deeply significant, even spiritual, even after a year since they happened. He says, "We have demonstrated that mystical experiences indistinguishable from those recorded in the history of religions can be occasioned with the skilled and respectful use of psilocybin. This now opens up a fascinating research frontier, not only into possible neurochemical correlates in brain activity, but also into correlations between phenomenology of different states of consciousness and subsequent alterations of mental health, creativity, spirituality. Many research projects await design and implementation in the years ahead, some of which may help us better understand the mysteries of our own being." And he says that there are 3 underrated things, I guess, in science and in the world, perhaps. One is human consciousness. Remember, we still don't know what consciousness is. There's not even any scientific evidence that it really exists, based on scientific data. The beauty of everyday sense perception without psychedelics, and the power of individual acts of compassion. Very hard to research those kinds of things. So in 2009, Mr. Richards wrote an article called The Rebirth of Research with Entheogens. That's what he calls psychedelics, entheogens. Lessons from the past and hypotheses for the future. And it talks about the research that was done in the past and how this can be used to guide current and future research in this area. It's a fascinating place. In 2006, he released an article called Psilocybin Can Occasion Mystical Type Experiences Having Substantial and Sustained Personal Meaning and Spiritual Experience. And in 2008, he released an article called Mystical Type Experiences Occasioned by Psilocybin Mediate the Attribution of Personal Meaning and Spiritual Significance 14 months later. So 14 months after this first experiment, in which it was shown that mystical type experiences that are powerful and meaningful can be occasioned by psilocybin, he went back to these same people and found that they still remembered that experience, and it was still significantly powerful for them. So next week we'll take a look more fully at these research articles written by Bill Richards, as well as some others, and we will see what's what, see how those experiments actually were handled and what their results were. Alright, so now it's time for a little wellness tip today, and we're going to talk about how foods and spices can change how you feel. If you're feeling fatigued, a healthy diet can help the body in efforts to heal itself and give you more energy. So to help reduce effects of chronic fatigue syndrome, and that is a debilitating fatigue that some people have, which goes along with impaired memory, muscle joint pain, headaches, sore throat, you can try the following. Decrease your protein intake to 10% of your daily calories. You may find opting for plant-based protein helps you get to this level without leaving you hungry. So yeah, mushrooms, by the way, are a great source of plant-based protein. So in decreasing your protein to 10%, that means that you don't eat as much meat and dairy too. So if you can reduce those things in your diet, that can be helpful. Eat a wide variety of fresh fruits and vegetables for their protective phytochemicals. Try garlic regularly for its antibiotic effects. Now, I've tried this. I can't eat raw garlic as some can. I don't like the taste all that much, and it's nearly impossible to to freshen your breath afterwards. So I don't like to eat it raw, but I do use it in powdered form in foods, and I believe that that probably is just as helpful, though I don't have any current research on that, but it probably is just as helpful for antibiotic effects as eating it, in raw form. And as I mentioned, mushrooms are immune enhancing, and they taste really good when you mix them into meals. So yeah, mushrooms I think are a great and powerful vegetable. We're going to talk more about vegetables, not only for your diet, but in relation to what we've just been talking about, because you know where psilocybin comes from. It comes from mushrooms. And we're going to talk about why mushrooms have this amazing ability and contain this amazing chemical that can literally change your mind. So now we're going to go to our meditation portion of our program. As I mentioned, I'm bringing back what I used to do on the show, which is guided meditation of some kind or other, to help those who are trying to either start or increase or fine-tune their meditation practice. And so it occurred to me that given the week's events and the things that we've been talking about, that shadow that we've been talking about, and raising your energy, raising your vibration, a meditation on achieving a high vibration might be in order. So, you may, unfortunately, don't have background music for this one, but follow my voice if you will. And if you are sitting or lying down in a calm place, you can close your eyes. Breathe into the belly and out through the nose. In through the mouth and out through the nose. Affirmative activities that leave us feeling joyous, appreciative, loving, and peaceful raise our vibrations. All matter is made up of energy, and that energy is continually in motion. Everything in the universe, from the smallest molecules to the most complex living beings, has an optimal rate of vibration that keeps it healthy. We reach this high vibrational level when we are whole, healthy, and fulfilling our potential. Human beings are able to consciously control these vibrations within themselves using a variety of techniques. We know when we have reached a high vibrational state because we feel good and can sense that we are aligned with all that is. We find we are capable of healing and have a good intuition and perception that are a result of our resonating closer and closer to our ideal frequencies. Thoughts, emotions, intentions, choices, and actions contribute to our vibrational state, as do the environments we inhabit. Affirmative activities that leave us feeling joyous, appreciative, loving, and peaceful raise our vibration. Constructive, creative, and expansive thoughts do the same. Mantra meditations, such as Om, breathing exercises as we are doing now, and chants, all are designed to increase vibration. You can feel the vibration in that word, but you don't even need to do that. Simply by practicing gratitude and forgiveness, surrounding ourselves with loving, high vibration people, and spending time in nature, this can also help us transcend our current vibrational limitations. And what happens is, when you begin to do it, it begins to feel good, and you want to do it more. And then a positive outlet will then become the most important tool you possess, because it makes you feel so much better. And as you evolve, your vibrational frequency will also evolve, and will aid you in the creation of an even higher reality. Consciously and unconsciously, you would try